Hello, everyone. We're finally on air, and I'm so thrilled to welcome you to our Lemonade Talk, where we're on a mission to restore your face in online events. Our format delivers 60 minutes of in depth discussions on topic you love, featuring top masters from their area. And today's intriguing topic is how to scrub the interview. We are going to delve into behind the scenes of the recruitment process, discuss do's and don'ts during the interview, and share the most insightful cases so you can navigate your way into the perfect interview. And before I introduce you our almighty speakers, I would like to kindly remind you to actively participate and drop all your questions in the section below. And at the end of the session, our speakers will be happy to address all of them. So, do not miss your chance. And finally, allow me to introduce our speakers. First up, Volodymyr Babenko, who is more than just a recruiter. He is a mentor. Hi, Vova. And with his role at Lemonaya, Volodymyr has been instrumental in fostering talent, refining recruitment strategies, and making candidates' journey to joining the Lemonverse as smooth as possible. Then we have our star, Ira Prokopiv. As a tech interviewers coordinator, Irina is committed to enhancing interview processes and delivering top-notch candidate experience. And finally, that's me, Dasha Mikheva. I'm a recruiter and communication manager here. And my goal is to ensure that these developers align perfectly with startups across the United States and Europe, and also fostering a sense of community within Lemoni. And without further ado, let's embark on this journey. Be prepared to be enlightened, entertained, and equipped for the next interview. Vova and Dira, the mic is yours. Hi, guys.
Hi
Hi.
there.
Thank you, Dasha. Thank you for the intro. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Okay, so so the topics, we're going to cover a lot of different things, and I would like probably to first off begin with a very basic thing that you have to prepare yourself for the interview across every step of the way of the hiring process. And as once was said by Arthur Ashe, that the one important key to success is self-confidence, and another important key to self-confidence is preparation. He was a tennis player in the US and a civil rights activist. However, this quote is very much applicable to the every process that you can think of in the recruitment world. You as a candidate have every tool needed given to you indirectly to land a job. The question is how you do it and how you will decide to use those tools for your own benefit. Immediately, sparkled in my mind the idea that I had a case once when there was an experienced software engineer who had a lot of different projects done, and he was really, really cool and excited to get the role. Alongside, he was rushing to do something else while the interview, and all of a sudden, we ended up having the interview in the garage by a phone call, accompanied by his few people in the background overall. So probably I would like to begin with the fact that don't be like that particular person. Interview in the garage will never sell you to anyone, so try to avoid it.
Yeah, if I might drop in, I also remember a case. Some of our tech interviewers has reported it to me about the guy who came to an interview from, I suppose it was Miami Beach, something like this. So he was quite in good fit, but I don't suppose it was a good lemon fit at all. So guys, it's pretty basic. It may sound like an obvious thing, but please check whether all your, microphones, cameras, all these things are working. You have a quiet place, you have a nice light, you have a glass of water, and you have a pen, and maybe you have your favorite IDE open so that you can code when you are asked to. So these things matter a lot.
Yeah, but let's just all agree here that at least those guys managed to surprise you, so that wasn't in vain, somehow.
Totally right. And I probably would follow up Ira's case with the fact that you should also double check how cautious you are about the hiring process. And that would include certain points as doing the research about the company, doing the research about the mission, the ideas, values, history, maybe. Fun facts given at the intro speech, for instance, or throughout the interview will never hurt you or anyone. It will help you benefit from the interview. And another idea I have in mind is that you should always opt out to becoming familiar with the business model of the company, the specifics, and know, again, getting back to the values, what values does the company have? And implement that into the answers and find the common denominator between you and the company that increases your chances to be invited to join the company team. And you should definitely stand out of the rest of the applicants. Just giving us some statistical data that we have at Lemonio, we hire about 1% of the applicants, right? And out of this 1%, 35 do their research, 35% do their research about the company. It is really, it should become a trend in my opinion, because when you do the research, you make yourself aware of the company, you feel more confident. Alongside, it makes you stand out from the rest of the applicants. I can give you a few instances that I have in my head right now. Once the interviewer may ask you, do you have any questions about the company or a business model? You can opt for two different answers. Answer A, you can say, no, I don't. Or you can go with something like, the intro speech made clear to me that Lemonio is a marketplace of edit developers who work with startups from the US and Western Europe primarily. It seems like you have been on the market for a bit over than 6 years now. And based on that, I would like to know, where are the headquarters? So boom, just like that, you sold yourself from the very beginning. And you combined everything that we spoke about previously. You did research, you understood the clients, the audience, the business model, and the what kind of clients do they have, whether it's enterprise, startups, what is the location. You did it all. So congrats. Ira, I think you can catch up from there for sure.
Yeah. I would like to add that I love documenting such things, and my advice here would be even maybe to create some sort of a document where you will save all the necessary information about the company you're applying to, not to mess it with other companies you may be applying at the same point. And research really matters. So besides what Vova has told, what I would advise you, of course, to go through the site of the company, to the social media, if they have so. Maybe if you have an idea of who will be interviewing you personally, you can research this person as well. Maybe you have some, I don't know, common friends, or you studied at the same university, it might be a plus. Also, talking about the preparation part, what I would advise to the candidate is to prepare some short intro about themselves and align this with the information you have already gathered about the client. So, for example, if you have a specific experience with the same domain this company works in, please highlight it. You may even skip or omit information about some other experiences, but you need to tell the customer the things he wants you to tell him, which are relevant to him in the first place. Also, what you will need to prepare is answers to some, classical questions like, tell about your most challenging project. This question sometimes, gets people unprepared, and they start to just discuss about some most relevant projects which are not challenging at all, and it spoils the whole game. So spend some, 15 minutes and think over some really great project, write down some notes about it to be ready for this question, because in 90% of cases you will get it. One more thing, quite popular among the interviewers is the behavioral question. And they are quite tricky if you are not ready for them. So I would advise you to, get prepared with it.
Maybe you can, yes, sorry for interrupting you. Maybe you can stop here for a bit and explain more detailed of what behavioral questions mean, because I'm not sure that everyone quite gets what you're talking about. So we will
Yeah.
appreciate some examples here, maybe.
Yeah, sure. So in general, behavioral questions are the questions where you're asked to explain or describe some situation in your past, which may reflect your level of soft skills. For example, these are the questions that start like, give me an example of the situation where you did that or that, where you confronted this or this situation. Why do people ask them? Because when compared to the straightforward asking like, do you like teamwork? Of course, everybody will answer, yes, I do love teamwork. But on the contrary, when the person is asked like, please elaborate on a situation where you had, for example, a conflict within a team and how you did handle it, the answer to these questions tells a lot more about the candidate and about his true motives and his true values than, just simply saying, yes, I love it. So this is why they are quite popular. And the nice thing about them is that in most of the cases, they're quite, classical, and you can prepare beforehand for them. So these are not the questions that will, catch you unprepared. So also spend some time, think over some, conflict cases with your team, conflict cases with your boss maybe, or something around this, and you will be prepared for, for 70% of the questions of this case. Also, I would like to mention a strategy called STAR method. If I'm not mistaken, we'll put it on the notes as well, which means the strategy for answering those kinds of behavioral questions, where you start with describing the S situation. Then you come up with the task which was given to you. Then you describe the actions you have taken and the outcome result. So this is a simple framework for answering any behavioral question you may be faced. Also, talking about the questions, I would like to mention that they're an important part of your speech as a candidate as well. And they're valued by the interviewer no less than any other input of yours. So when you're, searching the site and the social media of the company you're applying to, get prepared with this list of questions about how does this company work, what is the mission of the company, who are the people making the decisions in the company. You can adjust the questions depending on who is interviewing you. For example, if it is some technical lead, you can ask him, how did he decide to become a developer in the first place? What may be personal preferences in technology he has? If you're talking to a CEO, the person behind the idea of the company, you can ask, how did this idea evolve in the first place? You can also ask about your future teammates, the expectations that the company has towards you, and whether the person in front of you likes working in this company. This will be all very good, and they will melt their hearts for sure.
Can confirm, because from my experience, I remember a candidate who asked me why I personally liked working at Lemonaya. Also, he asked me about our values, and yeah, you're right. My heart was melted. I don't remember the outcome of this interview, but I for sure remember this question. So yeah, that is definitely the right one to ask during the
Yeah.
interview.
Yeah, this will make you stand out as a candidate, that's for sure, because not many people, it's also quite an obvious strategy, but not many people remember this. And I'd like to sum up that our brain works this way, that the more time we spend preparing before some important event, the more confident we feel ourselves during this event. Just remember when you have studied hardly before some exam and came to it, and compare it to the situation when maybe you have been hanging with your friends all night long and then came to an exam. The feelings were, just quite different, I guess.
So, yeah, Iran, if you don't mind me following up, what you're saying is that the stress and anxiety, it can be battled. Certain techniques, methods. I mean, what do you have in mind about that?
I hope so, at least. Yeah, I hope so, and I believe it is true to some extent, of course. What I'd like to start here with is that anxiety is a normal reaction of our body to any stress that we may encounter. So, for our brain, it doesn't matter whether we are facing a wild tiger or we are facing an important job interview. In any case, we are reacting almost the same. So the blood pressure is rising, the breath is short and all this stuff. And it's quite okay. It's, natural for people to get stressed about important events. But what I'd like to highlight is that you don't need to be stressed about being stressed. So don't overwhelm with it. Just realize that it's normal and you don't need to berate yourself about this. Talking about some techniques I find quite useful for reducing the stress level and the anxiety is the 3-2-1 technique. It works as follows. So you may imply before the event itself, and you can use it even during the interview. Just ask the people that you need some few seconds to collect your thoughts. It doesn't take lots of time. So what you'll need to do, 3, is for see 3 things around you and name them in your head, just like flowers, the clock, and the table. All in your head, not in loud. But okay, you can do. You can go wherever you want. Second is think of 2 things that you are hearing right now, like the clock ticking and the car just passed on the road. And also name them in your head. And think of 1 thing that is important for you to remember right now. Just, stick to this idea and this thought. It might be something like, I can handle this, they want me here, or something else motivating.
Yeah, just some kind of affirmations.
Yeah.
Let's say.
Yeah,
And
really.
as it just turned out, I realized that I've been using this technique constantly, but I just had no clue what it's called like. And yeah, from my personal experience, I can state that it definitely helps. I also can, pick some color, any color, let's say green, and try to focus on 5 or 7 green things around me. It also helps to refocus and reduce anxiety to some extent.
Yeah, that sounds cool. Really cool. Okay, guys. So, what next can help us when preparing for an interview? You can do a rehearsal. So you can practice with your friend and, practice in front of the mirror. This is what we have done with guys before this event, I must confess. And it helped. Do you confirm? Yes, okay. So also, as simple as it may sound, think positively, because those people who invited you to the call, they, just decided to dedicate some amount of their precious time to see you. So they must think you are an outstanding human and you have something that they're needing. So talking about the anxiety, I must admit that, and you need to keep in mind that the person in front of you will also feel some sort of anxiety, probably, whether it is a recruiter or technical interviewer, or even the client, people are nervous about the process. Sometimes they are nervous about the decision they need to make. Do you agree, guys? Are you anxious?
We agree, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm doing the 3-2-1 technique right now. I'm like glass, gold.
I see green, green sweater you're wearing.
Yeah, there you go.
So you already helped us to stay afloat.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and there are also some mistakes connected to anxiety that I witnessed when reviewing some interviews with the clients and with the technical interviewers. Some of them are when the candidate is afraid of saying something wrong. And it usually just, prevents him from talking at all. So the person stays silent. And, in such a situation, when you are not sure about the correct answer, it's better just to name the first thing that comes up to your head and say, like, I'm not sure about the correct name. It seems to me it was this. And everybody will understand that. And it's completely fine, because we're all human beings. And you are not supposed to remember every single name of every single technology that exists. Also, another thing that prevents candidates from succeeding is some, rumbling, non-technical rumbling, specifically when you're asked some questions and you are just, telling the whole story of your life with all the details and everything, just because you are so anxious that you cannot stop talking at all. In this case, what I would recommend, maybe try this 3-2-1 technique again, or maybe just stop yourself, remind yourself what was the question, and try to be precise and informative, but not too worldly, because it tires people and it doesn't play on your part. Also, talking about the answering to the questions, on the other hand, be patient. Just take some time to listen to the question you ask, because I witnessed lots of the cases when the candidates didn't listen till the end of the question. So in the middle of the question, they were like, oh yeah, I know this thing. This is what I know about it. And the question was completely about the different point, maybe. Or maybe they didn't hear all the details of the task they were supposed to solve. It spoils all the game. So listen to the end, and if you are not sure about what you were asked about, just ask the person to repeat the question, or maybe confirm, say something like, do I get it right? This question was about this and this and this. And this will be completely fine. So also, in some cases, the short answer like yes or no will be good. But in most situations, even if you have a close question like, have you had an experience with Kubernetes? The simple answer like yes won't be enough. In this case, you can opt for a more elaborate answer like, yes, I had an experience with it on this and that projects. I have used it for 2 years and have implemented those and those features with it. And ask the client or the interviewer if this information is sufficient, or maybe you will need to add some more details. Also, the silence. The awkward silence is the worst friend of the candidate. It might happen out of different reasons, because first of all, you might forget how the technology is called, or you might, dive deep in your thoughts and think over the answer of some questions. In these cases, it's better to communicate your train of thought so that other part is aware of what's happening inside of your head. So people are not worried the internet crashed, or you maybe, I don't know, you didn't hear the question. So in these cases, don't be afraid to tell it aloud, like, okay, guys, this sounds like a nice question, but I will need some time to collect my thoughts, for example, to answer it. this way you will appear more thoughtful as well. So I think the next section is just about the worst fear of the candidate, of the fear of not knowing something, and Vova has some pieces of advice about it.
I sure do. Thank you, Ira, for giving me the mic. So I would like to probably discuss, again, one of the real cases that I encountered in my practice. It's like, that the alumni interviews are structured in a way. Then we have a versatile structure to begin with. We have a soft skills part wrapped up with a technical discussion at the very end of the interview. And the technical discussion is target specific main stack that the candidate has applied with. So I had this lead on my interview, and everything was great. So we built the rapport effortlessly, seamlessly. The entire interview was very much like light vibed, you see. And one thing left, it was the technical discussion. And whenever the first technical question was announced, it seemed like the stress took over the candidate, and instead of giving a space and time to think and allow the stress to be there for a few seconds and for you to manage that, the candidate decided to Google everything right away and give it a perfect answer by the book. And after the initial warning, because we give out warnings about that, candidates decided to proceed searching for the perfect answer, theoretical answer on Google. So as you may understand, this is quite a big dilemma. The dilemma actually that I see if I assume that into one piece of advice is that that is the inability to admit that the mistake took place and that the question was failed. As Ira stated previously, it has been mentioned quite a few times during the interview that we are all human beings and the mistakes are part of our daily lives, and this is a natural thing. As long as we see it as a tool that we can grow from and become better. So my solution for this dilemma would be do not react, but do respond. And there's a huge difference, since the ability to reflect on your own performance only shows professionalism and emotional maturity. That is the key that the hiring managers are seeking for. So use it to your advantage.
Yeah, I completely agree that it's so relatable when you just don't know something and you're struggling with panic and all the options you have look equally worse. And some people might opt for cheating in this case because it's quite simple. You're sitting in front of your laptop, it can help you out, but I must say that in most of the cases we have detected cheating. It was really obvious because people might think that it is not seen, it is not visible that they're Googling something. But I must say that in case when you're trying to cheat, it's, it even changes the pitch of your voice when you're reading something from the screen and when you're speaking for yourself. And there was a fun case during some of our tech interviews. The candidate was sitting in the room with the daylight, and it was darkening, and he was sitting without any top light in the glasses in front of his screen. And at a certain point, the technical interviewer has asked him something really tricky, and he just opened Google in the side window and Googled something and was reading, but everything which was on his screen reflected in his eyeglasses. And it was, it may sound funny right now, but at that point, I don't think it was a funny situation for both of them, because, it doesn't feel well for a technical interviewer or the client to notice such behavior. So in these cases, I think the best strategy is to be honest and to admit that you don't know something. It's as well, I might repeat myself, but still it's quite normal not to know every single thing. And if you don't know something, you might just admit it and follow up with a suggestion of some other solutions you might come up with. Like, I don't know the immediate answer to this question, but I think that this and this might help, and I will think in this direction. What I also have noticed is that when the candidates are that honest during the technical interviews to admit that they don't know something, technical interviewers mostly mention it in the feedback, and it usually goes in the strengths section, not in the weaknesses. So they value this a lot.
True, absolutely. And I would like to maybe, I just remembered one of the cases that I had. The same thing happened. The candidate was trying to use external resources to satisfy the given question. He was also wearing the glasses, and I could see the website. So I did little thing. I saw the website. So I found the website on the interview, and I was like, okay, this is a very good resource to extern to, because he was actually reading the answers like word by word, exactly how it's written. So I was able to find that by just typing each word that he says. So this popped up in my mind. But yeah, I would just compliment your part, Iran, about the inability to process transparent feedback. We all are human beings, and we supposedly are emotionally mature, and we work with mature people. So on the interview, when you're assessed on how you would be presenting yourself on the call with the client, that's a vital thing to keep in mind. So with that being mentioned, feedbacks are a constant part of the job, right? You give feedbacks, you receive feedbacks. You cannot really avoid that, and you need to know how to react, or show better response to a critical one. So don't react with the things like, these questions are dumb, they don't reflect any factual information, I absolutely hated it, it goes outside my stack. Or one of the cases I had that candidates were reacting to the things like, how can you assess the technical proficiency of mine if you're not a technical person? And there are a lot of different things involved in the process of evaluating. Like, we're trained up to a certain extent about each tech stack combination separately, but we don't make the final decision. We share that with the technical interviewers, and we ask for the help from professionals, although we do have the basic understanding of what we're dealing with. Otherwise, we would not be technical recruiters. But yeah, following up on the do's, right? I would suggest reflecting on the interview. For example, like, you can say something like, the questions got me off guard. I think I would better perform if X and X happened. Or, I did appreciate the process. I'm now aware of the zones I need to dedicate more attention to. To my mind, it would be better to ask this question in XXX way. Rephrased version that you can give in response, and elaborated version would be much appreciated. That particularly would target the needed area, and that also you know exactly what you want from the recruiter, from the interviewer. How can I help to make your experience better, and for you to understand what do I want from you? Are there any keywords that would direct you to a specific zone of the answers that I was searching and aiming for? But if you just react and say nonsense with the absolutely no context given, that is not helpful. That's not the feedback. That's the reaction. So yeah, I think that's a wrap up piece here.
Yeah. I wanted to tell that it's all about the soft skills, mainly because some people underestimate this part, and they think that soft skills is about being nice, I don't know, to people. But soft skills are not about being nice. It's about being able to work in a team and to cooperate with people. They even have renamed this notion of soft skills to the power skills, because of the impact they have. So get used to it. Now live with it.
Absolutely, yep. So all these new trends, I can't even sometimes keep up with that. You have to stay on the web and constantly do that. So yeah, following up the previous statement, I would like to cover some of the practices that I have encountered with the soft skills that could have been improved. As once was said by Elliot Abrams, that the first impression matters, and experts say that we size up people's attention somewhere between 30 seconds to 2 minutes. So I want you to really focus on the numbers. 30 seconds to 2 minutes. That's the very beginning of the call, whatever call you're having. And what is that? It's a small talk. Small talk is a tool that you should absolutely use to your advantage and benefit. The first impression is the one that you make through those very first moments of the conversation. And you have to use that opportunity to start building a rapport with the interviewer. So as mentioned, as well as some people use it to their advantage, some just lose on it and just miss on. I would like to maybe highlight certain specific pitfalls that I have encountered in my working with the candidates and analyze from the cases. First off, that I would like to talk about the inappropriate tone. The style of communication that you particularly choose is going to decide how the interview is going to go. Whether you are transitioning from another industry or you're just looking for a new opportunity within the same one, you have to adjust yourself to the standards of the industry itself. Rudeness, yeah, it's a quite a common case if we talk about the cases here. It won't come as a surprise when I say that showing up and maintaining nice attitude, it would be something that is an ultimate key to forming a trustful and comfortable base for the trustful and comfortable cooperation, right? It's worth getting back to the point that recruiters do not perceive the process through the personal lens as people, but what we do is we basically evaluate how a particular person, a particular candidate would be behaving and presenting themselves on the call with the client. So imagine if the candidate would start correcting the client's English, for instance, or if he or she would cut the client's speech and be impatient, or maybe answer a phone call and have a full-time conversation with someone on the phone while having the interview. That's
or smoke. I'm sorry for interrupting you. Or smoke, or even drink something.
Absolutely, and I had both cases, by the way. Speaking about smoking, I had both cases when people would smoke cigarettes, take me with them to the balcony to drink something and smoke a cigarette. And, oh, okay, all right. Anyways, so another point that I feel like it's important to highlight is when there's no interest in the company, in the process. It's very much relatable to the very first point that we made about preparation and researching. When you have to realize one thing, that you have to take your time and attention to what you're getting yourself involved in. These days, basically, if you don't prepare yourself, you're failing on everything given to you by the companies and job employers. Right? You have to learn about the company, about the business model. You have to have a clear understanding and idea what the company is like. Again, getting back to the very first point about the values and ideas. Good example to resonate with, that would be as a part of the selection process at Lemon.io, developers have to watch the introduction speech. It takes about 5 minutes, covering all the necessary basics. And in recruitment, we use this tool called reflective listening. Reflective listening is when you base your answer or question using the keywords from something that you heard previously. As mentioned at the very beginning, from the introduction speech, I learned XXX. So that leads me to the assumption that this will happen. And based on the above mentioned information, I would like to elaborate on this, and this. Boom. Again, congrats, you sold yourself from the very first second. So as you can see, it can be very much beneficial for both parties, and you can just have that desire to use them, those resources given to you up to your interest, and stand out and be highlighted. Okay. All right, and next point that probably about so you have to prepare yourself with a little something to make sure that you support the idea of being interested in the process. Again, ask questions even if you don't have them, because as the practice shows, you do have questions, but you just ask them once you get onboarded to the community, to the platform. So you do have questions. You just need to be thinking about what is that really matters to you, that you lacked throughout the process. And yeah, probably wrapping up this point list with the fact that you should have understanding of the personal boundaries and not be unprofessional. Unprofessional approach will never get you there. There's a very fine line between being too familiar and too distant in the process with whoever there is. And it's a no-brainer what I'm saying right now, as the interviewers always have a certain degree of formality that you should follow, but not to be too familiar and too distant. For this, you might find useful the marketing tool called mirroring. It's basically when you, for instance, I'm gonna refer back to Iran's practice. At one of the points, well, technical interviews, and every interview has a small talk piece, and then introduction speech, if you will. Interviewers at Lamana usually go first to break the ice and make everything comfortable. So they go first and they introduce themselves. So what you can do, you can copy the communication style and the style of the speech that you were presented with, and use that and reflect the same style that you were given. This creates a simultaneous connection between two parties and makes the environment comfortable. So reflective listening, mirroring, use that to your advantage. You will nail that. It's not complicated and complex. I think that should become a trend for everyone involved in any sort of talent acquisition or hiring process, guys.
Thank you a lot, guys, for such a productive discussion. It seems, yeah, I didn't expect that, but it really shows that we're extremely good at aligning with schedule. You know, we even have lots of time left. So yeah, if you do not mind, we can switch to the part with Q&A session, because as I can see, we have a few questions here from our listeners. Finally, thank you guys for them. Yeah, I'd like to start with a question from Fasan. Sorry if I said it incorrectly. It's about smoking during the interview. So yes, the question is about why it's forbidden, why it's not okay to smoke during the interview, because it can help a developer, a candidate to do their work. That's a nice question, catchy one, actually. What do you guys say?
Well, again, as mentioned, if smoking helps you do an amazing job, why can't you last for the 30 minutes of the interview? I think it's a fair point that you can dedicate a bit more time to, again, formality, not to be too familiar, not to be too distant. There's a golden middle that you have to meet us with. I smoke too. I'm just gonna do a confession here, okay? And I do focus on things better when I do that, but I don't allow myself to do that in the environment with the candidate. Obviously, I don't imagine myself with the candidate who is answering the question while pausing to make a, what do you call this? A hip? I don't know.
Inhale.
Yeah, to do that thing. And it's just, this for sure will play a bad trick on you on the interview with the client or any call with the decision makers. Yep, I do see a follow-up question, if you don't mind. Can a recruiter smoke during the call too? Well, if we make plans to it, we can agree to this.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's good. Actually, I would like to add that maybe the reason is because smoking is primarily associated with leisure. So, and when you're on the interview, it's all about the business. It's all about the, some working environment. So you're not sitting on the interview in your, swimsuit. Why do not wear a swimsuit if you are feeling yourself well? So if it helps you to concentrate on your work while you're working, it's no problem, because I also smoke, and sometimes I just go outside, sit on the terrace, smoke with my laptop. But still, it is not a good idea to involve other people into this process. That's my opinion.
Yeah, can't agree more. And here's a question about drinking coffee during the interview. I believe that it's okay, drink coffee.
But friendly speaking, it is a bad idea, because we all had the discussion about the coffee just before the call, because it increases anxiety level that much. And better to drink some coffee after. That's just a friendly advice.
Yeah, for sure. And if I may just follow up, if we have a few moments, I think referring back to the Ira's points about this being associated with certain things, coffee is very much associated with like formal but still like friendliness, connector for people to have a chat, small talk. I mean, beer as well. I mean, whiskey as well, but in a different environment. You see, I know that recruiters practice getting coffees with their candidates in bigger companies, right? And I have not encountered a case when the recruiter would ask someone to drink whiskey about to hire for a job. So, yeah, it's like that. Anyways, thank you so much for the question, Hassan.
Great, thank you guys too. And the second question here, from Demian, how do you recommend candidates handle the question, tell me about yourself? What should they start with, maybe?
I don't think it should start with a birthday or, the day you have entered the school or something like this. I completely got it. It's a hard question because it's so vague in the meaning. And what does the interviewer or the client you're interviewed by expect to hear from you when he's asking about, tell me about yourself? He's not asking about your, hobbies or something like this. He's mostly asking about your professional experience and the skills you possess. So here, the best option and the safest one would be to start with the experience which is related to the project you are applying for. Give a shout to some prominent cases like challenging projects, and maybe stop a little bit on the soft skills section where you have handled something brightly. I think it will be a perfect solution. And if it will take like up to 5 or 8 minutes, this will be just fine. That's my opinion. You may prove me wrong.
Yeah, we can also tell off recruiters who ask such questions like tell me about yourself, because I would say such question sounds pretty vague. I mean, yeah, as a recruiter, I wouldn't ask this question to a candidate, but for sure some recruiters can. But I would rather focus on some specific areas like, as Ira or Bova mentioned, I don't remember, like shares one of the most challenging projects you had a chance to work on, or like, can you recall a situation where you felt the most motivated, etc., etc.? Because the question, tell me about yourself, like it can be about everything. I can feel the pain of all those candidates who feel stressed during this one. But it happens, unfortunately, too.
Yeah, and I may just wrap up this question with a little note that I hope I won't be punished by this, but I think that a very good piece of advice is that you can tell us something that will sell you. I mean, it's a market where you have to sell your skills through a small talk, through this question. I do agree with Dasha that this is a very vague point to discuss, and recruiters should not be expecting a precise answer when asking such a general question. But if you're asked initially, take it till you make it. Make yourself a perfect candidate for the answer, and use the keywords given in the description of the job. Okay, I'm shushing now because I'm going to give out all the secrets.
And we love it. Thank you, Vova. All right. It seems we're covered all the questions. Yeah, we expected more, guys.
No, we have one more from Fasan about the small talk.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
I think we missed it.
Yeah.
No worries.
Yeah. Great. How would you recommend to handle small talk about yourself and technical stuff in 1 hour?
That's interesting. we have 30 minutes and we managed to do that. So that's intriguing. Basically, again, make it short. What do you want me to know about you in 2 minutes? Make it 2 minutes for me. Can you do that? Challenge yourself before that and practice with a friend, using that various time limits to make sure that you use the key points. And I would probably recommend imagining who would you want to hire for the position. Shall you be the client? Would you want to hire someone who started this small talk with like, I was born into this world, and 2 months after this, I got the keyboard and I fell in love with the software? Or would you want to be hiring someone who is like, I've been in software for 8 years now, working on startups of different sizes, making architectural decisions. I managed teams of 5 people, and I found that challenging enough, but applicable to my skills to combine everything like that. Just like giving you a small idea. Technical stuff, I'm not sure exactly what you mean about that. But I hope I covered the small talk and give you some points you found useful, but let me know if not.
And also, Fasan, I might admit that it's not mostly the pain of the candidate to keep track of this time span. So it's a pain of the interviewer who will need to handle all these, start and wrap up the small talk, start the experience section, correct you if you are, flowing too high, and get back to the practical part and, make sure all the timings are correct. So you don't need to worry about this. What you will need to worry is, being precise in your answers and not going to the places you're not supposed to.
Great, thank you, Ira and Vova. And one more question from Fasan here. He's definitely unstoppable. Knowledge or experience?
Oh, I love it. I love it. It's a philosophical question. I would vote for experience, personally.
Okay. So I can catch up from there. All right. I would probably. Well, again. Let me see. Okay, give me a sec. I have to gather my thoughts. Honestly, I would probably go personally for knowledge, but you have to understand that there's a commercial limit that we work with, given by the businesses that we work with. Unfortunately, in some cases, there were interviews when 10-year-old candidate couldn't answer a basic question about the technical thing that was very basic. I don't remember what exactly was that, but experience of 10 years did not pay off the very basic thing that we have to then transfer to as one of the points to evaluate the candidate. So I would say knowledge always pays off better, but the experience you have, again, to learn how to manage that and work with the experience, right? So that you can, manage the business requirements of the commercial world of the IT. So, yeah. I know it's tricky. We feel your pain, actually. We do feel your pain, but learn how to manage that thing.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, great, guys. It seems that we can wrap up. What do you say? Okay, one more. How to become a part of Lemonaya? If you're a developer, you can just go to our website, lemonaya.com, and apply there as a dev, if you're a dev, or apply as a client, if you're a client, and after that, we will get in touch with you. That simple. Right?
Sure. We get back within 2 business days, so, yeah. See for yourself. Let us prove that.
Yeah, easy peasy. Okay. Again, Vova and Ira, I want to thank you for these valuable contributions for our dynamic discussion. It was a pleasure for me, and I hope that our viewers also like that. And yeah, thank you guys for dropping all your comments. We wouldn't make it without you, without your engagement and support, of course. So yeah, go forth and conquer those interviews with our tips. I hope that they were valuable for you. And yeah, finally, don't forget to keep an eye on our next event, which is scheduled for October 25th, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, for those people who will be watching our video later, because we know that everyone lives in a different time zone, you can also drop your questions in the comments. We will see all of them and we'll be happy to address them. So yeah, I'm done. Have nothing to say. Maybe you'd like to add anything, guys?
I'd like to thank you, Dasha, for being an amazing moderator of this talk. Yeah, and Vova, you are just a star. Guys, thank you so much for this opportunity. I like it so much. I was so anxious before this, and now I just don't want it to stop. Thank you.
Best partners in crime. Yeah, thank you, everyone. Catch you later. Bye-bye.